Hi, my name is Ricky Barturin, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about what makes us feel stuck in life. In general, when we feel stuck, we're in a situation, obviously, that is not aligned with our soul. We are not feeling inspired. We are not feeling grateful for this situation. For example, you might be in a job that you hate, right? And you know that you hate this job, and you feel stuck and you feel powerless to change it. That's an obvious sign, that's an obvious feeling of being stuck. And these emotions are actually the fuel that is necessary to take action and get yourself out of there, right? But another more subtle form of being stuck is if you think of the analogy of a frog being in a pot of water, and they turn the heat up gradually, so the frog doesn't know that the water is getting hotter and hotter, and eventually the water is boiling and the frog is sitting in that water, right? And the frog is like, I'm not feeling good. I don't know what's going on. I just feel like crap. I feel like, there's no way out. I feel like life sucks right now. And little does that frog know is that someone turned the heat up on the stove and it started to boil the water. And that's the most tricky part of figuring out why you're stuck, right? And how do you figure it out? What happens is, what I realized in myself was, for many years, almost my entire life, I was living my life for the opinions of others. As a man, I wanted to impress women and I wanted to attract a partner. So I felt like I needed to have a certain level of financial success. So that was kind of driving me versus what was actually inspiring me from within. And the irony is that when we do what's inspiring to us, we have enthusiasm, we help people, and people pay us for it. So you can make money doing what you love, no matter what it is, right? Also, I was feeling stuck living in a certain city, and my family, they're very close knit. So I was like thinking of going to the opposite side of the country. And just that thought, I was feeling like stuck in the current city of Miami, Florida, or even just being close to my family somewhere, because of their opinions and listening to the opinions of others. And many times this is unconscious. Many times we're not even aware of this. Many times we just were raised a certain way. We haven't developed our internal voice, right? Which is why it's so important to learn to face and feel your emotions. Face and feel all those emotions that are under the surface. And one sign that you have a lot of emotions under the surface is that you are very in your head. You have a lot of brain noise. Your head just doesn't stop turning because your emotions are in your body, and they're not generally comfortable usually if they're painful emotions. So we want to avoid feeling in the body, so we get into our heads. And it's like a pressure cooker. You have all these emotions in your body, and they're so intense that the pressure goes up to the head, and you're just like disconnected from your body. It's almost like you don't even have a body, right? And so when you're disconnected from your emotions and you're blocking off your feelings, guess what? Your intuition is also a feeling. So if you're blocking off your emotions, you're also blocking your intuition. And your intuition is the one that's guiding you to your life. Guiding is your soul telling you what it is that you need. And so if you're that frog in that pot of boiling water, and you were disconnected from your emotions, and you just, maybe your entire life you were pleasing people, listening to others, making sure everybody else around you was okay, and not listening to yourself, gaslighting your own emotions, making your own emotions wrong, you push them into your unconscious. So you're not even sure what it is that you're feeling. You're like, I know I'm just in this situation, I know I'm in this city, I know I'm in this job, I know I'm in this relationship, I know that I'm just not happy, but I don't know what I need to be happy. The answer is to start to face and feel your emotions. And the most powerful tool that I have seen after learning how to face and feel your emotions is the DeMartini method. And emotions are, in the grand scheme of things, they're our animal nature. They're not our divine nature. They are our impulse and instinct, our impulse to chase pleasure and get food, and our instinct to avoid being eaten and become prey, right? So we have this fight or flight response, which is where our emotions come from. This doesn't mean that we gaslight our emotions. This is a lesson that I learned. So once you learn how to face and feel your emotions, and you no longer are afraid of them, you can express them, only then should do, in my opinion, do the DeMartini method, which helps you to see the divine perfection in life, to see when that person pisses you off, that you're seeing your reflection. And you're projecting your unowned and disowned parts onto them. Things that you don't love about yourself, you're seeing it in front of you in the other person. We're literally like projector screens, right? We have this divine light of unconditional love, and if there's anything blocking the lens of the camera, of the projector, guess what? You see on the screen all these little pieces of dirt and stuff, and it's because there's something inside of us that's not letting the pure love, unconditional light come through. It's our judgments. And so this happens with people in our lives that make us upset, and this also happens with people, with situations in our life that we don't see the divine perfection. And there's always a divine perfection. The universe is conspiring to teach you how to love, and to teach you how to love yourself, and teach you how to be grateful for life, and be grateful for all of you, and be grateful for every person in your life. Every person in your life is showing you how to love yourself. That boss that you hate, that relationship, that ex-partner that you hate, is showing you what parts of yourself you haven't loved yet. And so, to recap, it's vital to learn how to face and feel your emotions, and learn how to get connected to your body again. If you're very in your head, you might consider going to a somatic practitioner that specializes in helping someone resolve trauma and face and feel their emotions and feel safe in their body enough to feel emotions. We feel so triggered, and our nervous system is so activated, and it's protecting us from those emotions, that we literally get cut off from them, and we're disconnected from our emotions, and also, as a byproduct, our intuition, which is underneath the emotions. After you face and feel the emotions and get them out of the way, what's left is your intuition. Another way to get the emotions out of the way is the DeMartini method. However, if you don't understand it correctly, you can use it to gaslight yourself and be like, I'm feeling an emotion, I shouldn't feel this, let me get rid of it. I don't like that method, because I don't like that perspective, because yes, our emotions are our animal nature, they're not a divine nature. However, we shouldn't gaslight them, because they are trying to tell us something. Your emotions are actually from your intuition. If you're in a job that's not right for you, you're gonna feel stuck, you're gonna feel angry, you're gonna feel upset, you're gonna build resentment for this job, and you're gonna feel a lot of emotion. And that emotion is the fuel you need to use in order to make that change. Once we stop feeling emotional, which is caused by external things, we're attached to the opinions of others, we're attached to this job to make us happy, we're attached to this relationship to meet all our needs for us. And literally, in relationship sense, it's expecting the other person to be your mother and your father, when in reality, when we're no longer emotional, and again, which is run by the external stimulus, things on the outside making us emotional, then we can start to tune in to our inner voice. We stop being run by the outside. And when the outside stops running us, we can tune into our inner voice and be like, okay, I no longer care about the opinions of others. And this is not from a pissed off teenager energy where I don't, screw everybody's opinions, all that matters is my opinion. No, it's like I've gotten to the place where they're allowed to have their opinions, but they don't trigger me anymore. And I can listen to my own inner voice, and that's the inner voice, that's the voice that I listen to, because it's coming from my intuition, which is coming from divinity, it's coming from God. I really believe that. And I really know that. I don't believe it. It's not a belief. It's a knowing, because I've experienced what happens when I listen to my inner knowing. And so you begin to honor yourself. You face your fears. Fears it's a future imagined emotion. It's an imagination And in the future, you're going to experience more negatives than positives. And everything in the universe is balanced. So I'm getting a little off track here. This is about being stuck. So the goal is to realize why you are stuck. And the way you realize why you're stuck is by facing and feeling emotions, kind of giving them expression. It's almost like when you have food poisoning and you want to vomit. Imagine the feeling of holding that in. It would be extremely excruciating. But then you let it out and you feel like $1,000,000. You feel so much better because you let that out. So that's how the emotions are. They just want to come out. And once they come out, your intuition gets easier to access because your intuition is under those emotions. And if you're extremely pissed off, you're extremely angry, extremely frustrated, it's very difficult to access the inner voice that's in there, that's in between the emotions. You have pissed off, like if you're in a highly polarized relationship, it's like there's super high highs, super low lows, and it's like, and in the middle is your intuition. And that's what you need to learn how to listen to. It's very subtle, your intuition, your inner knowing, and it's clouded. And many times we're taught to not listen to our own feelings and listen to the feelings of others, listen to opinions of others, listen to please our parents, please our friends, make sure everyone around us is happy. And we're always looking externally, make sure everybody's happy. And when you're looking outside, guess what? You cannot look inside. You can only focus on one thing at a time. If you're always focused externally on what everyone else is feeling, you're not tuning into your own inner guidance. And that's the way to get out of being stuck. And then guess what? Your inner guidance says, move to the other side of the world and leave your job and break up with that partner. And now it's like you freak out. It's like, no, there's no way I can do that. No way. What am I gonna do about money? I'm gonna be all alone. In a new country? What the hell? And that's when you see the fear comes in. Your intuition is a knowing. It says, this is what you need to do. And your fear kicks in. Your fear is your fear of abandonment, your fear of being alone, your fear of not being good enough, your fear of, oh my God, if I leave my job, what am I gonna do about money? What are people gonna think about me? They're gonna think I'm a loser if I don't have a job right now, right? So all these things come up that keep us stuck. All these being stuck to the opinions of others keeps us stuck. And it's not until you shed those ego layers. And let me tell you, it's not always that easy. It's been a journey for me, and it's a journey. I'm not complete, and I'm sure it'll continue. And I'm sure there's more layers of ego. But there's been so many things that I thought I was doing it because I wanted to do it for me and to be of service, but I was trying to prove something to myself. I was trying to prove something to others. Trying to make myself look like I was that man that a woman would want to marry and be with. I wanted to have a certain level of financial success to make myself attractive. All these things, and I had to let go of that. I was like, you know what? Right now, I love myself for who I am. I don't need any of that. I wasn't born with money. I wasn't born with a job. I wasn't born with status. I wasn't born with any of that. And even when I was born, I was lovable. I was lovable as a toddler. I was lovable as a baby that wasn't even named yet, right? So none of that makes you lovable. And when you the irony is, and the beautiful thing is, when we let go of all that, of all those external, like needing external opinions, then we listen to our inner voice. And when we listen to our inner voice, we do what inspires us and what we love and how we want to be of service from the heart, not from the ego. And when we do that, people will reward you financially for it because you're helping them. And it's actually a good thing to charge what you are worth, because if you do free things for people and help all these people, it's great, it's beautiful. But then on some level, they feel indebted to you. They feel like they owe you something. And then on an energetic level, they feel like, I owe this guy something because he did all this for me and I didn't do anything back, right? So it keeps like this energy attachment cord. It's not a fair exchange. You're providing a service, and they feel grateful for it, and they pay you what you're worth. And both parties are happy. It's like they feel like they received something, I feel like I gave something, and I feel like I received something. They gave something to me. So it's when you're doing what you're inspired to do, what comes from the heart, what you love, you can get paid for that. And you'll be enthusiastic because you love it, and people will want to reward you for that. So that's what happens when we break the attachments outside opinions, is we start to listen to our own opinion. We start to listen to our inner guidance, which comes from the divine. It's what we were created for. When we stop trying to be something that we're not, if you're a fish and you're trying to climb a tree like a cat, or you're a cat and you're trying to swim like a fish, you'll never be if you're a fish, you'll never be a good cat. And if you're a cat, you're gonna be a horrible fish, because like cats hate water, right? So the goal is to just get to your true nature. Stop trying to be something that you're not. Honor your true nature. Love yourself for who you were when you were born, without anything outside of you, without anything, without having to be anything. And only then will you finally become what you were supposed to be, what God intended you to be, because you're just doing what's natural to you, which sometimes we take for granted, because it's just your nature. Have you ever met that like brilliant artist or brilliant musician or like this brilliant mathematician, and they're like, yeah, whatever, it's that's just what I do. And you're like, what? You could be selling this stuff. You're so amazing. You're so talented. And they don't think anything of it because it's just their nature, and they don't honor their nature. Imagine telling a cat that they're really good at climbing trees. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like, this is what I do. I have claws. I can climb a tree. So what? Or you tell a fish how good they are at swimming, and they're like, I was born swimming. So to me, it's just whatever. That's their nature. And if you don't honor your nature, if you're trying to be something that you're not, you'll never honor your true nature. And when you honor your true nature, you'll know what it is that you want in life. You'll be able to get yourself unstuck. You'll say, okay, I can move across the country to where I'm feeling like I'm being called to go. I can leave that job. And you know what? If I don't have money for a little while, if I'm struggling for a little while, it's okay. If women think I'm a loser, it's okay. They're not the ones for me, right? Someone who sees my heart and sees who I am at my core, they're the ones who really love me. And people, when you love yourself, people start to reflect that love back to you. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. So I know I went all over the place, but I hope that inspired you a little bit to learn to love yourself, to face your fears, and to really honor your own knowing, and learn to live by your own opinions rather than the opinions of the outside. And only then can you understand and know why you're stuck, and then have the courage to take action to get unstuck, because it takes a lot of courage. And it's not always the easiest process. It's sometimes painful. It's extremely painful to shed those layers of ego sometimes if you're holding on to them very tightly. And I can vouch for this. It's been a very painful experience, because when you're stuck in that pot of boiling water and you don't know why the water's boiling, you didn't turn the volume up, the power up, the heat, and you just feel like you're boiling, you don't know why. And that's literally what depression is. I'm convinced. I was depressed for 15 years. I was on antidepressants for 15 years. And I know now that it was because I wasn't living what my soul wanted me to do. And I didn't know what my soul wanted me to do. So I felt like there was no way out. And when you've been struggling to stay afloat for so long, eventually your nervous system just gives up. And it's like, okay, that's depression. That's depression. Getting out of depression the cure for it is to understand why you're stuck, understand what your soul wants. And if you would like to know some of the practices, there's some practices that I learned that you cannot learn online. You learn them from certain enlightened gurus, their association, like Sadhguru, the Isha Foundation, and also Paramahansa Vishwananda has a Kriya practice. It's a yoga Kriya that if you just learn that, if you found someone that taught it online, it wouldn't work. It has to come, you have to be initiated into it in order for it to work. There's a certain energy attached to it. And these things help you to start to shed things that are not part of you, that you were not born with, that are not part of your soul. And then you start to get more clarity. So if you're interested in that, just comment on the bottom. Leave a comment in this. Leave a comment in the comment section, and if you're interested in hearing some practices, and I can point you in the right direction. Namaste.